I am here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
My name's Sally and I'm from County Derry in Northern Ireland.
And how often have you been in Medjugorje?
This is my 8th trip in Medjugorje.
Why do you come back all the time?
Well, you just come here to experience the peace and the joy that Our Lady has brought to the world.
Mm-hmm. And how can you explain somebody who hasn't been here that there is peace and joy here, that she's here actually?
Yes. Well, we come here and we experience the Holy Mass, as they speak about here, and the adoration, and all the sacraments are very readily available for everyone here, and that just seems to filter through into everyone who actually attends here in person. You can read the books, but until you come and experience it, it takes on a new meaning.
What did you experience here? What is Medjugorje for you?
Well, when I first came to Medjugorje, I always practiced my Catholic faith, and but when I first came, I actually came as a youth pilgrim. I'll not say how many years ago. It was 24 years ago.
Wow.
24 years ago, yeah. And I think what that done for me was it just gave me a deeper understanding of the Mass and the real presence of Jesus, and I suppose it just gave me a stronger desire to attend adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, and to attend confessions, and just bit by bit I've built that up over the years. And I think as a youth pilgrim, it gave me a stronger, it made the seed of my faith stronger.
And you said bit by bit, it's so beautiful because we are all a work in progress.
Yes, day by day.
So you attend more the Mass now, more conscious, more
yes, very much
in-depth?
so. Yes, yeah, and then just to really have a deep understanding of the true presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament.
Yeah. And confession is so important in Medjugorje, and people are scared. Sometimes haven't been to confession for 20 years. After your journey, what would you give them as an advice? What confession is and why not to be scared?
Well, confession is just, I suppose, it's like a cleansing, and personally speaking, I have always enjoyed going to confession, but it's so readily accessible and available here, and I think it's coming and witnessing so many people returning to confessions here in Medjugorje, it actually gives you a confidence boost to attend it more regularly when you return home.
Wow, beautiful. That's how it is, no?
Yes.
And then our faith, when we are in the state of grace, we can receive the Eucharist. And for you, it seems a feast now, the banquet.
Yes.
Is it so?
Yes. It's It's you want to prepare in advance, and you just feel so much deeply connected with Jesus. You really believe that you're receiving Jesus in the Eucharist, and then of course the thanksgivings afterwards.
So important to take some time to thank God and to listen after you receive the Eucharist. What is Jesus saying in your heart? Because you're fusing. It's the most intimate relationship for our Protestant friends watching. This is the most intimate relationship. The Rosary, I see you have it and you pray it?
Yes, I pray the Rosary.
Why?
Probably prior to the first coming to Medjugorje, like 24 years ago, I would have known how to say the Rosary. Truthfully, I probably didn't say it every day. But again, that has grown for me, and now, time permitting, etc., I do try and get the full rosaries completed each day.
What is the effect?
It has actually become a joy to recite the rosary.
Wow. Why?
Yeah. Well, I suppose you're meditating on the life of Christ,
Again,
from the
connecting.
beginning to from the Annunciation right through to the resurrection.
Beautiful to the resurrection. I was just thinking only about the cross.
Mm-hmm.
No, resurrection. That's so beautiful how you say it. And I can see it in your eyes. You are resurrected. You are shining. Did you have a deep conversion, like a pivotal point in your life that something happened to you?
No, as I say, I always practiced my faith, but it took on a deeper meaning when I first came to Medjugorje. After, when I returned home after Medjugorje, and then since that, there was years I wasn't in Medjugorje. There was like times, your work life, your family life, everything else takes over. But that deep root was still very much there. And it has been a joy to return to Medjugorje, particularly after COVID, which was such a dark period in most people's lives.
Yes.
And now I would never take any trip to Medjugorje for granted. I would just, you always treat the trip as perhaps your last trip, and then if an opportunity arises again in the future, you will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And you have a favorite spot here in Medjugorje?
Favorite spot? I would say St. James's Church.
Why?
Well, you just feel it's the central point of the parish, and the church itself, as I'm sure most people would be aware, or if any of your viewers are not aware, but it was, really, I think, in Our Lady's plan from, many, many years prior to the operations. It was a much bigger church than what the little parish of Medjugorje actually required. So, and really, Jesus is present there in the tabernacle at all times. So for me, that is the core, and that is the center point.
Yes, so good that you say it, because Medjugorje is Christ-centered. It's very important to tell. No? And did you make the experience? Did something change in the image of God the Father? Because a lot of people think God the Father is an angry old man with a white beard. He wants to judge us, put us to hell, and he's very happy. Another one in hell. And he's not like that.
Well,
what did you experience?
Well,
now?
Really, I would say that possibly it could have been maybe like a childlike image that I may have had of God when I was, maybe preparing for my first Holy Communion or taking my first confession. But I wouldn't view God as an angry old man. I would view God, and as I say, particularly through Our Lady's messages here, and I would view God as a God of love.
Yes, pure, selfless
And of course,
love.
the Divine Mercy, the mercy is flowing, and it's available for anyone who comes.
You pray that prayer? The Divine Mercy?
I do pray the Divine Mercy.
What is so powerful? Can you make a little promotion for that prayer?
I'll probably not do this any justice.
Just from the heart,
well,
what you feel?
It's the Divine Mercy, you're imploring God's mercy.
Yes.
And the great promise of Divine Mercy is the mercy is readily available for anyone who comes. And of course, it's a great promise associated with people at their deathbed or at the time of their death when the chaplet is recited. So for me, that is just powerful. That's priceless.
Yes, it is priceless because we are all leaving old, poor, rich.
Yes. And it also, I think as well, the Divine Mercy, it's a powerful prayer for, even intercessions or for conversions, people that you feel or yourself, we all have our ups and down days with our faith. We can have our doubts, we can be in highs, we can be in lows, we can have our dark moments and our joyful moments. But for me, the Divine Mercy, again, is just such a strong force of power.
Wow, like the rosary. Did you see the change in your family life when you started to pray the rosary? That it's more peaceful? Or petitions heard?
Yes.
Miracles?
On a personal level, I would say I have had prayers answered. Likewise, I would say I've had prayers unanswered. Yeah. But in the long term, you realise that God answered them in a different way.
In a better way?
Maybe not the way that you really desired. But then in time, you get, over the course of time, you do get the grace to accept God's answer.
Yes. And did you make the experience, last question, did you make the experience when you live in the intention, thy will be done,
The divine
the Father's will, divine will,
yes.
that you are more in peace and more in joy?
Yes. Well, divine, well, I suppose when we recite the Our Father each day, I feel that it's good to start your day with the Our Father, and then I suppose you're within the will of God at that point.
Yes.
And then it's just day by day, moment by moment. I'm not going to use the word struggle, but it can be a struggle sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. But then the other thing is with prayer, it's yes, we can recite our prayers and we can take the sacraments, but we also have to live the prayer, and we have to live our sacraments. Reaching out to help, be a helping hand, or accept help when we need it ourselves.
Yes. Did you make the experience? A lot of people, it seems Catholics also, it's hard for them to love themselves. You have to not only love other people, balance.
Yes.
It's written in the Bible, love yourself
Yes.
as your neighbor.
Yeah, I do agree that if you want to respect other people, you must first respect yourself and your own body.
And how did you learn that, to respect yourself? Did your parents train you?
I would say my parents, yes. My parents are both deceased. And my mother first came to Medjugorje in the late 1980s on a few occasions, and my brother as well. So I'd have grown up knowing about the, hearing about the visionaries and the messages, etc. And but I didn't have that real desire to come until it was actually the Jubilee year of 2000 when I first came to Medjugorje to the youth festival. And that was a very last minute decision. I'd been to the Shrine of Our Lady of Knock in the month of July, and that was the first time that I'd noticed they have an outside rosary on the gable wall where the apparition took place in Knock in Ireland, and each of the Our Father beads has a different place of Our Lady, like for example Fatima, Lourdes, etc. And that was the first year that I noticed that Medjugorje was also mentioned. It was also included in one of the Our Father beads, and with Medjugorje not being fully approved, it wasn't an official pilgrimage site at that stage. And I remember thinking, gosh, it's now public, and it sort of stopped me in my tracks in Knock. But I left Knock thinking, but then why would you go to Medjugorje? We've got our own. Yes. So I visited Our Lady of Knock Shrine in Ireland in July 2000, and I noticed on that occasion that the word Medjugorje was included in the outside rosary, which was on the gable wall. It was the first time I had ever noticed it. So it sort of stuck in my heart, and caught my eye. But I still left Knock feeling that why would you go to Medjugorje when we've got our own Marian shrine in Ireland, as other countries got their own Marian shrines. And I think Our Lady then wanted to teach me a lesson, because within 2 weeks I was in Medjugorje. There was a seat became available on a trip that I knew other people were going on. There was no reason why I couldn't go, because I was available from work. I was free to go, etc., etc. And my mother said, sure, just go. She encouraged me to go. So one day I was going, the next day I wasn't going. I had a 2-day window to make up my mind, and all of a sudden I was here. And it really was a first impression, first evening, I thought, what sort of a place is Medjugorje? But within a couple of days I was very much enjoying the youth festival. And as I say, I've already explained earlier, it was it really reignited the faith that my parents taught me when I was young, and then it made me feel a very deep love of Our Lady in my heart.
And we see long term how it changed. You go to Mass, pray the Rosary.
Yeah, well, I go to Mass when I get the opportunity. I enjoy praying the Rosary, and I just try and live by the 5 stones of Our Lady as best I can. I am by no means perfect.
Yes.
I am I try and incorporate it into my day, and every day is different for each person. And but I mean, we've all had our dark moments in our lives as well. And I suppose my parents' deaths were sore, and was a dark moment in my life.
So you wanted to tell me about after the death of your parents.
So after the death of my parents, my dad died in 1997, and then my mum passed away in 2020, just early in the COVID time, and that was quite a dark period in my life, as particularly with the isolation, etc., and the lack of sacraments at the time of her death. But really and truthfully, the Divine Mercy was her saving grace, as was her wearing the brown scapular when she was unable to have the last rites of the church administered to her in hospital. But overall, I would say that, personally speaking, my faith has given me the grace to, overcome the death of my loved ones, and the deaths of my loved ones, and everyone has to, I suppose, go through the grieving process to deal with the loss of the person. But as Catholics, I feel that we have such a promise with our Catholic faith, and I really do feel for the people who endure bereavements and do not live by that promise. They do not experience. They do not have the faith that that Catholics have, particularly at the time of death. So I personally feel that it's something that we should do, that I'm very thankful for. And I think it has been said many times here in Medjugorje, if your faith is not good to you in the bad times, well, maybe it's the other way around. If it's not good to you in
the good times, and you're grateful,
yes, then it'll not be good to you in the bad times. But it certainly gives you the appreciation when you really need it. God is by your side.
Amen. And at the end, what would you tell people? I mean, how is God at your side? Do you have this personal relationship? You talk to him like a friend to Jesus in the morning?
Well, I would feel at adoration. I feel you can. I would feel that I can pray, I suppose, from my heart at the adoration, and at the consecration of the Mass. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, I believe, is truly present. So. We can. I can pray with my heart at that point, and then just listen for. I like to. The way I would sum that one up is I like to pray with the eyes of faith and the ears of faith. Yes.
And you can only have this eyes to see and ears to hear when you're in the faith, when you have this personal relationship, no? When you experienced him.
Yes.
You experience him in your heart, Jesus, that he's talking to you?
You can feel it in your heart.
Yeah. He's real, he's alive, he's a living God, right?
Yes.
And at the end, what would you tell people? Why come to Medjugorje one time?
I would say, certainly, if you get the opportunity, please come to Medjugorje. I suppose sometimes in comparison to travelling to other destinations in the world, either Marian shrines, religious shrines, or other tourist places. Some people might think, no, don't come to Medjugorje because there's nothing there. I would say that is untrue. I would say, to the eyes of some people, they may feel that Medjugorje there is nothing, but I would say in Medjugorje there is everything.
Everything. You can find the love of God, that you are a beloved child of God.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that beautiful interview. And we got an extra question. What is your favorite saint?
Oh, my favorite saint, many saints. Saint Joseph, the family.
Why Saint Joseph? It's the forgotten saint, so important these days.
Very powerful for the family.
Yeah.
And
especially for us men.
Protector of the Holy Family.
Yeah.
I actually work in a school, Holy Family Primary School.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes. So my favourite saint would be Saint Pio.
Why? Padre Pio.
Padre Pio. Well, very fortunately in the parish that I live, there was a Padre Pio prayer group formed in 2005, so I joined at that point, and I suppose my devotion to Padre Pio has just deepened and blossomed since that, and I've had a few opportunities to travel to San Giovanni and
wow, you touched
be
me.
present with Padre Pios. So it's been a lovely experience, and
why the saints? Why? Can you explain?
Why
Maybe a
the
Protestant
saints?
watching saying, why do they have the heck do they have the saints?
Yes.
What do they do to them? Yeah?
What do they do?
Yeah, what is the
What do the
role of
saints
them?
do?
Why are
Well,
they
the
connected to
saints,
them?
For me, the saints, I view the saints as the intercessors,
Mm-hmm.
and the saints themselves were just like us. They lived on this earth. They were humans, and as the saying that we say, every sinner, every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. So the saints were holy men and women, and they are, we believe that they are present in heaven interceding for our needs.
Yes,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
And you had prayers answered that you felt, Padre Pio, thank you.
Definitely.
Definitely.
100%. Definitely.
What is so special about Padre Pio for you? What?
Padre Pio, for me, he was a man of great humility. He had a deep love of the Eucharist and, of course, the confessional as well.
Yeah.
And I would call him a no-nonsense saint.
Yeah.
No-nonsense man. He lived a very worthy life, and he had a great love of Our Lady.
Yes. And that's inspiring you.
Yes, yes.
Me too.
And I mean, it's kind of, if you look at his life, even fasting, he ate a minimal amount of food each day, and still survived to the age of 83. I mean, really and truly, his life, it was like a role model, and it's been replicated in what's happening here in Medjugorje.
Yes. The spirit of him is here, I
Yes,
would say so too.
yes,
You know?
yes, yes.
Wow.
And of course, he's been very powerful. There's been many miracles attributed to Padre Pio.
Yes.
But again, I would have great respect for all the saints. Yes.
Yeah, but that's so nice in the Catholic Church. We can
Yes.
choose one where we're
Yes,
more
and
connected to.
I know
Yeah.
I'm not really good at quoting, but I know Our Lady has referred to the saints here in her messages, and so that's encouraging as well. That we have saints in heaven to intercede for us.
And you have a favorite message by Our Lady here which inspires you somehow?
Well, I think it has to be, if you knew how much I love you, you would cry for joy.
And you cried as well a lot here?
There has been times, yes, it's nice to cry tears of joy after you've cried the tears of sadness.
Yes.
Yes, and let's face it, everyone has had tears, at different times of their lives. But as I've already said earlier, that when you go through the dark moments, it gives you an appreciation of the brighter moments.
And how did you get through the dark moments? The rosary?
Rosary.
The
yes,
Mass?
Rosary, yes, Mass. And I suppose I'm thinking back to the COVID times and the death of my mother. Online prayer was our only option.
Yes.
But yes, it carried me through.
It's our Catholic faith.
It carried, and it carries anyone who's open to it. It will carry. Take this as words of encouragement for anyone who's experiencing difficulties in their lives. Just turning to God, but keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
Honestly, from the heart, cry
Yes,
out.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And look for that beautiful relationship.
Yes.
That's what God the Father said. If you look for me, I'm going to reveal myself to you.
Yes.
It's a spiritual law don't be afraid. Don't think it's an old man with a white beard. You explain it. It's mercy. It's pure love.
Yes.
And he wants to be connected. Somebody watching now, I think he has to listen to that. A lot of people actually.
Yes.
And we encourage you. I experienced this loving God. You experienced him. He's not the old man with the white beard judging. Not at all.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a diabolical image. It's not true.
And I think going home from Medjugorje, it's just, I think just try and go home, live it and quietly. You don't have to be like preaching to, you know, you live, you can live the messages, and others that, you know, if you can have that impact, then others will learn from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's by example, not by words.
By example, yes.
Just that you are peaceful, joyful, and they say, man, she changed. People tell me I changed. You're more yourself, Tom. Unbelievable. And then you give example and you change people through your example. No? What can I say? Thank you.
So lovely to speak to you.